I want to start.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with another episode of the Snowflake Viewpoint, where we cover various news, some of the latest here in the UK in this live stream. The date and time for this is the 17th of June 2024 at 8 PM UK time. This is episode 59 of the Snowflake Viewpoint. How are you guys doing? I hope you're all doing well. We are dual streaming live on YouTube and twitch.tv, and I just got to do the hashtag I failed again, guys. I failed to put up the Twitch. Why have I forgotten that? I don't know. Shame on me, guys. How are you all doing? I hope you all had a very good weekend. I've got quite a few stories to cover here tonight. I'm a bit quiet. I shouldn't be quiet. Shouldn't be. Some... Ah, that might be why. How's that? Is that louder? I don't know why. Where is the audio setting changed? The audio setting on this changed. Why did it change? Yeah, my... How is it now? I had it at 300%, my mic. For some reason it went to 100. Yeah, okay, that's good. What do you mean, ouch? I could raise my voice, to be fair. Right. There we go. Right. Right, let me just fix that. Sorry. This was not supposed to be part of the plan. Don't know why my mic was as low as it was. It's better to be too loud than too quiet, because then you can adjust your volume anyway, to be fair, guys. So we got a live... Right. Back to proceedings. Now I've got that out of the way. So I got a live YouTube chat poll for you guys asking, do you think if Nigel Farage would join the Conservatives if he becomes an MP after the general election? Before I go to that, I'm just going to see how would you guys feel about it? What do you guys think? Cash Dummy says, yeah, good. Says, why not? He should. I'm sure he'll help burn bridges or whatnot. Ollie's not so sure. Ollie thinks it's a very bad idea, and Ollie just told me why, and I agree with him. And Pingu says, "Hail the Reform Party," which I think he needs some rehabilitation after making comments like that. Guys, yeah, very very silly comments there from him. Who have we got in the chat, by the way, just before I talk about the poll? Tom Nilsson, Botswana Sela Atui. If I said that right, I apologise. Tom, good to see you, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Joe Lefty, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Ruth, there, sitting here enjoying the relaxing music. Yeah, I can't have, like, apparently Mad Monk did not like some of the banging music sort of thing that I have in some of my other tunes. So, yeah, I put a nice smoothing music just to appease Mad Monk 33 there. That's, but as long as other people are happy with it, that's fine. Good to see you, Mad Monk and Ruth. Hope you guys are doing well. Ben Ridgens is here as well. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Stu Viking President is also here as well. Any chance to practice my Italian? You know what? I wish I'd learnt more languages when I was younger. I should. There's a lot of things I wish I could have done, but it's no point beating yourself up over the past. It is what it is at the end of the day, sort of thing. But just on that poll, guys, I just wanted to say this, obviously, before we dive into the show. So asking about, do you think Nigel Farage would join the Conservatives if he becomes an MP after the general election? And I really do base it on a couple of things. I base it on how many seats are going to be left of the Conservative Party? Are they still going to be an opposition party? Now, if they become an opposition, if they can still be an opposition party, I can see him making that jump. I can see him becoming their leader, and I can see him becoming Prime Minister down the road. Against all the odds, I can see that happening, because I just look at Donald Trump, and yes, this may be a different scenario, but he had the media backing him. And if Nigel Farage gets enough of the media to back him, and because he's got that charismatic, he doesn't always have to be right, but he's got his eye more on the ball than Donald Trump has. I can see him becoming Prime Minister against everything that we want. I really can. That's how scary it is to me. I think it's a very possibility it could happen in the future. So it's really why we really need that media reform in this country to really stop people like him misinforming the public, because there are still people out there who are generally diehard supporters of him, will believe him more than anything else, which is very scary to say the least. Stephen Banker and Satu Hoshi, good to see you both guys as well. So before I dive straight into the topics, guys, I wanted to take you to this lovely story from Tom Swalspick. For some of you guys may have missed this video from LBC, reminding us just how hard it is for people without Sky TV. Poor Tom has to tell everyone just how he feels without the need for Sky TV. I feel for him, and just as much as I feel for Rishi Sunak.
I want to start this hour by telling you a story. An awful story, actually. A story of deep personal tragedy.
Yeah. If you guys have just come in and you didn't see the whole thing, please scroll back and watch that because it's absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious, guys. I will put a link on Discord later on if you guys want to watch that again. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Countdown to Power, good to see you. Mark Wilkie there, good to see you as well. Is there anyone else I've missed? Simon says 55 there as well. Good to see you there. No dishy rishy. No dishy wishy. Yeah. So guys, the first story I've got for you guys is actually not one related to the election. Actually, it's related to COVID. This was an exclusive that dropped today from the Guardian, and yeah, this is extremely infuriating. Just to add insult to injuries about what was happening with the COVID contracts, guys. So. The boss of a US firm was given £4 billion in UK COVID contracts, accused of squandering millions on jets and properties. The exclusive reveals that Rishi Sunak's team helped fast-track deals with firms founded by Charles Yang, who says contracts generated $2 billion worth in profits. Joe, good to see you there, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, this is so infuriating. 4 billion, guys. Like we talk about, so there's been, I really do think, I know Labour, I've said it in them, I'm pretty sure they put it in their manifesto. I have not covered the manifesto at the time of this live stream. I plan to cover it tomorrow. I don't know whether I'll cover all of it in one go or half and half. I have not decided that yet. It depends on how much I cover. So I'll let you guys know because I've got some other plans tomorrow evening, some special plans, which I'm going to let you guys know at the end of the show. So don't leave because I've got something special to for you guys as well. But we've already lost like £37 billion in test and trace. The amount of PPE scandal that we've had, and this, and it may, and another 4 billion here of a US firm. It just feels like it feels like insult to injury. And this is a kind of a story that's going to kind of fall under the radar because we're in the middle of an election. Not many people are going to pick up on this story as well because people's eyes are on the political agenda, what's going on with the parties, with the election and that. So that's why I wanted to cover it now because I was worried that obviously I think, yeah, it's something that would fall under the radar really. In California, states of sunshine and palm trees, a small group of men are locked in a big legal fight over the money made by a US company selling COVID tests to the British government. The founder of Initia Medical Group says his business collected $2 billion. Excuse me, that's 1.6 billion in profits, one of the largest fortunes banked by any medical supplier during the scramble for life-saving equipment in the early months of the pandemic. In a storm of chains and counterclaims, Initia's boss Charles Hang is accused by former associates of squandering or moving $1 billion of those profits, spending lavishly on luxury aircraft and an $18 million house in Los Angeles and a home for his mistress. The previously little-known Chinese-American businessman's fortune was transformed by the British taxpayer through 11 government contracts worth approximately £4.3 billion for the lateral flow test LFTs made in China and sold by Inifia. The government fast-tracked the company after its British representatives sent a direct email to Dominic Cummings, the chief advisor to the then Prime Minister Boris Johnson in July 2020, and a Guardian investigation had found the fast-tracking of Inivia was supported by the then Chancellor Rishi Sunak's team at the Treasury. So we paid 11 government contracts according to the Guardian here. 11. And the Guardian investigation has found the fast track. Yeah, sorry, I read that bit away. Inivia became, for a period, at least four critical months, the only company authorised to supply rapid COVID tests in the UK, despite scores of other developing similar kits. And at the time, the government spending watchdog raised concerns, saying the lack of competition poses risks to the value for money. In his evidence to the COVID inquiry last October, Cummings told how he had pushed through the first Inivia contract with with backing from Sunak's team. The intention was to allow the economy to reopen by providing enough kits for up to 10 million people a day to test for the disease. The mass daily testing plan, labelled Moonshot, was met with scepticism by scientists, including Jonathan Van Tam, the then Deputy Chief Medical Officer, who had told the inquiry that he had real doubts about whether it was workable. The Moonshot plan became part of the NHS Test and Trace, known as the Mass Testing Programme. And in the autumn of 2020, Cummings said in his written statement that Sunak's team supported me with the mass testing team as we tried to overcome horrific Whitehall bureaucracy, secretly buying hundreds of millions of fast tests before other countries realised their value and there was a PPE-like panic. The UK Health Secretary Agency has confirmed in response to a Freedom of Information request that the secret buying of tests was the first contract awarded to Inivia, agreed in September 2020. It was worth £103 million. The government went on to spend billions more with the company. The information raised further questions about the UK government's widely criticised decision-making during the pandemic and huge sums of public money spent after normal procurement procedures were suspended. The apparent support of Sunak's team also raises questions about how far the Treasury was involved and the government's expenditure of billions of pounds on test and trace and personal protective equipment. Sunak has repeatedly presented his work during the pandemic as a landmark success, telling workers at the event on the first day of the 2024 general election campaign, "You know you can trust me when it comes to the economy. I've got our country through COVID." So you didn't get our country through COVID. You lied again. Well, we knew it wasn't really him that was behind it, but 11 contracts, £103 million. The first contract was awarded as well. Let me guess, more commissions and no condemnation, says Zhao. Yeah, pretty much. Just for context today now, I can go online and see where every euro in COVID expenses was spent, says Zhao. I feel so much better now, Zhao. Thanks for that. Yeah, makes us feel so much better. My mum used to have a saying about people like the Tories. They know the price of everything, but the value of nothing, says Countdown to Power. That's a good saying. It's a very good saying. For Inivia, landing any UK government contracts was an extraordinary bonanza. The company was only formed in March 2020 by Hume's California-based financial vehicle, Palaska Capital Incip. You know what I'm saying. Said by some of its own investors into the legal claim to have little money behind it. Hyang, a serial entrepreneur, had limited evidence success in his track record, according to his legal claims against him. So why was he getting money? Because he's a friend of a friend of a friend. Oh, he's an entrepreneur. He knows what he's doing. Are you sure you want to give this man? Are we sure we can trust this guy? Look, we don't have time. We've got to get the PPE. We've got to get all this COVID testing ASAP. We've got to get it in ASAP. Yeah, but this guy, I'm not so sure about it. Don't time for all this thing. Just give him the contract and let's get on with it. That's literally the mindset of the Conservative government at that time. After the pandemic hit, everything changed. Another investor in Placida had a connection with the company in China, Jiangming Biotime Biotechnology, which, like many others around the world, including some in the same city of Jiangming, was beginning to manufacture LFT kits. Kimberly Alfonga, Inifia's UK representative, who had previously worked in marketing for a series of shoe companies, including Dr. Martin's, emailed Cummings in Downing Street in July 2020. And in that email, published followed a Freedom of Information request by the Good Law Project. Gotta love the Good Law Project. Fournier promised that the tests were a true game changer. Cummings told the COVID inquiry that he saw the rapid tests as key to his proposed mass daily testing, and he believed he could enable super spreaders to be isolated, so allow most of the country to operate as normal. He immediately referred Fonger to another Downing Street advisor, who replied within an hour to tell him that we are very keen, and introduced him to a leading civil servant. In September 2020, Inivia was awarded the first UK government contract, although its tests were still not evaluated. So before they even evaluated the tests, they were still given the contract. But obviously the government and the people arguing at the time was we got to get it in now. I'm asking myself this question in the back of my mind. Would Jeremy Corbyn been this stupid? I think the answer is no. We don't think he would be. It was authorised for use by the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, the MHRA, 3 months later in December 2020. The authorisation was based on tests carried out by the government's high-security Portland Dow laboratory, which had been asked to evaluate a number of LFTs and indicate that he had prioritised Inivia's products because contracts had already been awarded to the company. Sorry, I got something. What's something in my throat? Sorry, guys. Oh, I think I cleared it. Sorry, apologies. An indicator prioritising Inivia's yeah. See, this is the thing. Like, because the contract had already been rewarded, so yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, you got to go with it now. The Department of Health and Social Care identified Inivia at that time as the only supplier with a validated test that could produce the large volumes needed to work flexibility. By March 2021, Inivia had already been awarded contracts worth £3.2 billion, according to a critical National Audit Office report published in June of that year. The public spending watchdog noted that Inivia was still the only supplier of LFDs, that's lateral flow devices, for self-test approved by the MHRA. The report warned that there was a risk to value for money due to the lack of competition and normal regulatory processes. Cummins said that the government needed to buy these tests secretly, without alerting the rest of the world. But countries across Europe were already evaluating rapid tests, and Italy was using them in ports and airports from the summer of 2020. In September 2020, the World Health Organization issued guidance knowing that nearly 100 companies were developing manufacturing rapid tests. He announced a global partnership to supply 120 million kits to poorer countries, made by companies in the US and South Korea. And in February 2021, the EU published a list of 82 different suppliers, but not including Inivia or X-Men Biotime Biotechnology. You knew something was wrong when the EU publishes 82 different suppliers in that time, and those ones that Reeves gave a contract to. You know something was wrong right there. Like, they give out 82 suppliers who you would think, if the EU are going to highlight these companies that can get you the rapid test that you need, you would think that these companies that the UK put their money behind, you would think that those companies would be on at least the EU's publishing list, but they weren't even on there. 4 live streams modding with 4 hours and doing 2 right now, said Mad Monk 33. Who else is on? Inivia did offer to sell to other countries, but does not appear to have done so in large quantities. In a scathing report published after Inivia first distributed them to the US without authorization, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, said the test should be thrown away or returned to the company. It has repeatedly barred attempts to import the test. Like... So you first here you have the EU not highlighting the supplier, then you have the US saying that these tests are crap. Wow. An FDA spokesperson said COVID-19 antigen tests produced by Xiamen, a Biotime biotechnology company, are being refused admission into the US. Yeah, but we already gave them a contract. Inivia was included in a later addition to the EU's approved list. Ah, okay, that's the important context there. So they did add them later on down the line. Among many other manufacturers, as a B supplier, member states were advised to use tests from the A's list. Okay, so they did highlight them, but say to them, only as a last resort, go to them, basically is what they're saying. The UK government said to have ordered 1.8 billion tests from Inivia altogether, paying the company approximately £4.3 billion. In one of the legal claims against Hyung, the former Inivia executive Robert stated that Inivia's UK contract generates substantially all of their revenue for Pasquiga Group. In 2022, Hyung was featured in a film Asian Inspiration, saying Inivia had made a profit of £2 billion after tax from its COVID contracts. Hyung is now contesting legal claims for overdose profits from Kishbis and Inivia's UK representatives, Fournier and Charles Palmer, claiming that they should have been paid more. Cuspis accused Hyung of having a checkered career and a few achievements of substances before Inifia's remarkable fortunes in the pandemic. Oh, okay. He's just doing one out there because he... Okay, that's cool, Mad Monk. All right, well, tell him I said hi anyway. Hyung is accused in the claim of being a high-end con artist who squandered or moved for his own use due to incompetence, power and greed, and more than $1 billion of assets generated from UK sales. He is alleged to have lavished some of the proceedings on luxury purchases, including private jets for $70 million, the $18 million luxury home and a swimming pool in LA known as the CEO House, and homes for his mistress, as well as poor investments in failing businesses. That's where our taxpayers' money has gone, guys. Luxury homes, private jets, swimming pool, and a mistress for him as well. That's where our taxpayer money's gone. He also claims Hyung was trying to secure a knighthood and working on having a film made about himself. Wow. Talk about arrogance. Wow. Talk about arrogance. I'm Mr. Perfect. Wow. Titled Overnight Billionaire. He alleges Hyung promised to buy out his shares of $75 billion but never did, and ultimately fired him from the company. Hyung responded by denying the claims for alleging that Cuspis, another former Inifia chief executive, Daniel Elliott, stole millions from the company. Quite a spat took place after they got all that money then. Cuspis and Elliott denied those allegations. The UK representatives Fonga and Palmer are also suing Inifia in California, claiming that their company, Disruptive Nanotechnology, was due 10% commission on all UK contracts, so they should have been paid $500 million. They accuse Cuspis and Elliott of duping them out of that commission and pocketing the money themselves, instead of the saved commission used for the promised purchase. To keep the price out of Inifia's COVID-19 test competitive, they claim alleges Elliott spends tens of millions of dollars to purchase lavish properties, expensive cars, a private jet, and other luxury items. They both deny the claims. The disputes are all ongoing. Whether the merits of their arguments, this fight in the US West Coast is over extraordinarily large amounts of British taxpayer money spent during the pandemic with one newly formed company for vast quantities of rapid COVID tests that was able to deliver. This right here, this right here infuriates me. That money, none of that money should be theirs. It should all be returned to the taxpayer, to the Treasury. Every single fucking penny of it should come back to the taxpayer. Every single goddamn penny. This is a con. Every bloody penny of that should come back to the taxpayer. Absolutely disgusting. And if we don't get that money back, we should take it out of the Conservative Party's coffers, because they're the ones who initiated this all in the first place. Spokesperson for Inivia and Hyung dismissed the allegations against him as baseless, pointing to Inivia's success of being awarded the contracts and having the test officially validated. The spokesperson said, "We were the largest supplier to the UK of COVID-19 tests for these reasons. We were cost effective. The average price of each test we provided went down on every subsequent contract, and we met with significant shipping expenses to the UK ourselves each time. Delivering on time and at all times met the urgent requirements of the UK government and at a critical, important period for the country." Mark Holster, a Los Angeles attorney representing Elliott, said that he categorically denies any claims against him and he did not receive any improper compensation from anybody. These tests saved thousands of British lives and prevented many more hospitalizations, Hosker said, adding that it was one of the very best performing tests that could be immediately produced and delivering at the massive scale required by the United Kingdom. If it was so good, if it was so bloody good as you say it was, why did the US reject it? Why did the EU not put it on its frontline list? That's a pack of lies there. If it was that damn good. Providing these tests required Herculean and unmatched logistical efforts, Mr. Elliott takes great pride in these accomplishments, having been lauded by the UK government for his efforts. An attorney representing Cuspis said that he stands by his legal claims and added, "None of these US proceedings has called into question the efficiency of the tests or of the government processes." The tests save thousands of British lives, as recognised by the UK government itself, and the Mr. Compares is extremely proud of this role in delivering those tests to the UK. A spokesperson for disruptive nanotechnology said, "We cannot comment on ongoing legal proceedings." Cummins did not respond to requests for comment. Government spokesperson said in a statement, "Before the general election was called, we have always said there are lessons to be learned from the pandemic, and we are committed to learning from the COVID inquiry's findings. And we are all keen to play a key role in informing the government's planning and preparation for the future. While the inquiry is ongoing, it would not be appropriate to comment. The COVID inquiry is due in spring to turn its attention to the government's multi-billion-pound spending on medical supplies, including lateral flow tests in the extraordinary circumstances of the pandemic." These tests save thousands of British lives. So let me just start with one caveat here. It is true that lives were saved from some of this. However, we could have saved a hell of a lot more if we had just stuck to some procedures. And of course, let me be very clear here. Yeah, saving the British public, saving as many lives as we can was far more important than taxpayer money, in my opinion. However, the fact that they chose this company without any checks, any balances whatsoever before using them just strikes as just how loose they were with taxpayers' purse. They really was loose with the purse. They really, really was. Yes, again, lives were saved. Not going to deny that. And I think everybody was happy that lives were saved. Could more lives have been saved? Absolutely. Absolutely more lives could have been saved if they had not picked them. But we're talking £4 billion of taxpayer money here is being fought over by a bunch of yobs. I'm going to call them yobs. Over who should get what. Over the outcome of it. And I'm just thinking, how did we give them £4 billion? And how have they got so much money still left over? Like, I really want to know who made the final call to say, yeah, give them the money. I want to know who made the ultimate call. Like, who made that final call? Like, who made the final call to say, yeah, give the money to them? That's what yob is a pleasant way to describe them. Yeah, well, I've already sworn once already tonight. But who made that call? I mean, are we talking, is this Matt Hancock again? Because we know he gave money to his mates. So who made that ultimate decision? And I expect in the COVID inquiry, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing, saying, oh, he made this decision, he made this decision, he made this decision. And when you hear about Michelle Mon and what's happening with that money, and now you hear about this, and how you hear about the lifestyles that these guys, that this person is in now, at the expense of the taxpayer money, and it's just like, and then and then you think about the crisis that Britain is facing when it comes to the kids starving, our healthcare crumbling, sewage in the waters, the public services not functioning, and then you hear about this, and it just infuriates me. I just don't understand how they could let this happen. And and they're supposed to be representing the best interest of the British public. And again, it just emphasises just how little care they really have about us. And if you explained this, if you explained these stories like to the average Conservative voter, if you actually just put them down and you was able to explain all these in simple terms for them, they may actually just not vote Conservative, because there are still people out there, regardless of how bad these Conservative politicians was, regardless of how bad things have been, they're still going to vote for them, knowing that they've destroyed so many lives. They have literally got blood on their hands, as someone said in the chat earlier. Literally. And it's just absolutely disgraceful. Let's have a look. I'll see what you guys are saying in the chat here. Yeah, Stephen Banker said it. Tory blood on their hands. Yeah. A cabal of crooks, he says as well. Can't exactly say they've had very good human heart when they failed to do proper vetting. Yeah. You can fool some of the people all the time. Yeah, I also blame the media as well for as well. Boris claimed that he's herd immunity, and everyone in Europe was not laughing. They were looking in disgust and horror. Yeah. They are uncaring cheapskates with no sense of responsibility for the people they serve, says Ruth. Yeah. Arrogance sounds more like hubris to me, says Tom. This is absolutely disgraceful, says Countdown to Power. Yeah. Yeah. Don't really need to add more onto that. But yeah, obviously after this general election is done, I'm sure we'll keep an eye on the COVID inquiry. Just yeah, on that. So let's move on. Let's talk about some of the things that have been going on in the general election, tying into a little bit with the live YouTube chat poll, guys. Remember, we're dual streaming both here and on twitch.tv as well. This next piece I've got for you guys is from the Financial Times. The headline is Nigel Farage's reform pledges £88 billion in radical tax cuts. The plans do not add up and will cost billions of pounds more than claimed, the Institute for Physical Studies warned. Now, I'm going to stress I have not looked at the reform manifesto, or shall we say contract, because they call it a contract apparently. It's like a contract with the British people. This is what we will do when you vote for us. And some of you guys know a while ago, there was a video I put out on, and it was from the Telegraph, breaking down some of the things that Reform would put in their manifesto / contract pledge that they would put to us. And I said at the time, well, the majority of it I did not approve of. And there was a lot of it I didn't approve of. There were one or two good things in some of their policies that Reform had. Now, I would not be surprised, and I will have to cover their manifesto, guys. I know some people don't want me to, but I have to. I do try to be a proper broad church, unlike someone else, because I want everyone to know exactly what the parties are offering to you. There will be some things in that manifesto that will not surprise me. I'll say, you know what, I agree with that. May not like the man, I may not like his party, but there is that saying from Max Robespierre, who always said that he gives a bit of truth, but he tells a lot of lies, and that's one of the clever things about Nigel Farage. But the Institute of Physical Studies are already saying that Nigel Farage's plans don't add up. But mind you, they did also say that about the Green Party manifesto as well. But they got more praise, the Greens manifesto, than other ones, to be fair on them. But I think even there were one or two were having a go at the Labour Party manifesto, which I still have not read at this time. But let's read what the Financial Times had to say on this. So, Reform UK has pledged to drastically cut taxes and boost health and defence spending in its election manifesto, despite concerns its plans do not add up. At a press conference today in Merthyr, Wales. Why did they do it in Wales, out of curiosity? The right-wing party set out radical plans, including lifting the income tax threshold from £12,570 to £20,000 in a series of moves that would result in roughly £88 billion in personal and business tax cuts. How does... okay. Lifting the tax income. Okay. Apparently it's going to raise roughly £88 billion. I'm not sure about that. Nigel Farage, as Reform leader, said he accepted the plans were dramatic, but insisted he had been fully costed, unlike the £45 billion in-depth funded tax cuts set out by the short-lived Premiership of Liz Truss that sent financial markets into meltdown in 2022. It's radical. It's fresh thinking. It's not what you're going to get from a current Labour and Conservative parties. I'm still having trouble believing you, Nigel. Reform has committed to roughly £141 billion in tax cuts. What? What? An additional spending each year. funded by raising about 150 billion through measures including a 5% cut in department budgets, axing net zero plans, and overhauling the Bank of England's money printing operation. This sounds like something that's what Argentina are going through right now. This kind of stuff. This is scary. This is so scary. This sounds like something that what's happening in Argentina with Mendy making the massive radical reforms. Like that's scary. My God. Like 141. Just like no. Like no. This is not gonna work. This is too. There's change which people want, and then there's batshit fucking crazy change, which is what you're proposing. Just saying, guys. I just think it's a bit too far. Carl Emerson, the Deputy Director of the Institute for Physical Studies, a think tank, said the manifesto did not add up and would cost billions of pounds more than claimed. These plans cannot be implemented without finding ways to raise money or cut spending, he said. The Insurance Party is trying to broaden its base ahead of July the 4th general election and position itself as the main party on the right wing of British politics, supplanting the Tories. Yeah, they will become the right wing party of British politics if the polls are to be true. Reform is currently averaging about 14% in the polls, but in one YouGov poll last week, it overtook the Tories by a single percentage point to reach 19%. Nigel Farage said the manifesto, which features a picture of him in Downing Street on the cover, was not an attempt to govern the country. That's not possible in this election. Our aim and ambition is to establish a bridgehead in Parliament, he said. Farage labelled the vote an immigration election as he warned of a population explosion and called for the UK to exit the European Courts of Human Rights. No! Sorry if that made you jump, guys. Madeleine Sumpton, a director of Oxford University's Migration Observatory, said reforms plans to freeze non-essential immigration were unclear and could wind up being less radical than presented. It's not clear what kinds of work would be counted as essential, he said, noting reform mentioned exemptions for health workers. She added carve-outs would result in a policy not far removed from the status quo. Outside of the health and care sector, there isn't much scope left to reduce migration without a physical cost, she said. Adding politicians were reluctant to offset low wages in the care sector due to the state of public finances. Yeah, exactly. Public finances are in the bloody state. Reform has pledged to cut the department spending by 5% without an applicable dip in service, but also commit to investing in the NHS and boost defence spending to 3% of GDP. Wait, I thought... he says... He doesn't mean the National Healthcare Service. He's talking about the private healthcare service. And this here, we're going to spend 3% of GDP. Like, just the sums are not going to add up. They're not going to add up, guys. They're not. Meaning you have to reduce other department budgets more drastically to offset these proposals. The party also said it would block BOE from paying interest on commercial banks off the benchmark rate of 5.25% on £770 billion of reserves as part of a quantitative easing policies in a move that would raise £35 billion each year. The IFS previously said that this measure was unlikely to raise even half the amount reform expected. When the IFS and the Institute of Physical Studies are telling you your costs and numbers are not adding up, your numbers are not adding up. This smells and feels like a Liz Truss, like something Liz Truss would introduce. Like that's what I'm feeling. I'm getting Liz Truss vibes, and I'm getting that Argentina's President Mendy vibes as well. That's what the vibes I'm getting off this. Scary, dangerous, and not cost efficient in any way, shape, or form. Now, one thing I will say though is that I was listening to an LBC a bit earlier, and they had the Deputy for Reform on speaking to Tom Swalesbeck, I think it was, and they said he was saying at the end of the manifesto, there's actually a piece on there, a small piece of saying where they get the cost efficiency and the numbers sort of from. So obviously when I cover the Reform Manifesto, we'll obviously have a look at that. So they're obviously going to say where they got them, where they got these ideas, where they got these numbers and calculated them from as well. So it'll be interesting to see what that says specifically. But I'm going to go with the Institute for Physical Studies and the IMF saying, yeah, your plan does not work. It's a lot of talk, but the thing is that because it's a lot of big talk, people will buy into it. That's the thing. People will buy into it, guys. That's just the absolute reality of it. Thankfully, they won't get anywhere near power. Don't be surprised, Mark. Don't be surprised. Until we have a change in the media and proportional representation, don't be surprised. Did you watch Nigel's video when he launched the contract? I did not watch the video. No, I actually spent all day yesterday doing videos and content. I switched off for half the day today. I've only been into the politics stuff since 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The redestroying party is extremely dangerous. Do not take them lightly. I don't think it's worth me watching the video, to be fair, guys. I'm sure it was not worth my time, and I'm pretty sure it's not worth me bringing up either, guys. So, guys, before I go to the next article, can I just remind you, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. God, I've been burping a lot. It's because I'm drinking too much water. If you do that, guys, you make these guys very happy. Hitting that like button and sharing and all that stuff, guys, it supports these guys. You can just about see Cash Dummy in the screen there. I really should move it over just a little bit so you can see them there. So... yeah, supports the gang here behind me. So if you do any of that stuff, please do. It'll be greatly appreciated. So thank you to everyone who hits like, share, and subscribe. We're not far off 1,000. We're getting close to that 1,500 subscriber count. So any subscriptions get me close to that. It really does make a big difference. So thank you to everyone who does do that. It really makes a massive difference. So this next one, guys, is from Sky News, and it's Labour saying that they won't do this, but will they do this? So Labour will not change council tax bans, the Shadow Minister has said. Labour politicians have previously failed to confirm if they would change council tax bans, which have remained unchanged since they were created in 1991, despite some areas seeing significant house prices increases. So I do think that they should review it. I don't think that they should rule. I don't think they should rule it out. I think they should say what they should be saying is, if we come into power, we will review it. We will look at the council tax band and we will make a decision. That's what I would have said. I would not have ruled it out because there may be in order to obviously help in certain areas where the house prices are too much, it may be necessary to change the council tax bands. So to rule this out, I think, is a mistake by Labour. I think they should have kept the door open on this, if I'm personally honest. But we will have to wait and see, obviously, when they come into power. And like I said, I have not read the Labour Party manifesto, so if anyone here has, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I will be watching it. I will be covering it tomorrow live at 12 p.m. I will be covering the Labour Party manifesto. So if you guys want to watch along with me on that, you're more than welcome to do so. So let's read a bit more into this, you guys. So the party has promised not to raise income tax, national insurance, or VAT, but has avoided making explicit commitments on other taxes, including council tax bans. However, speaking to Sky News Breakfast with Kate Burley, Labour Minister Jonathan Ashwell said no increase in income tax, no increase in national insurance, no increase in VAT or corporation tax. We're not doing council tax rebranding. So he says that there. Was he supposed to say that? But he would not specifically rule out a rise in fuel or stamp duty. No, we know what the main taxes that they're. We know the main taxes that they're ruling out, and I think it's and while people may not like it, I appreciate the fact that they're not saying about other taxes, but it doesn't help that we're playing a guessing game with what taxes they are and aren't. But I also understand why they're not, because they have a lead and they don't want to do anything to risk mitigating this lead in any way. But just because it's entirely possible that Jonathan Ashwell may have been saying this under pressure as well. I'm not saying he's lying, but it's entirely possible as well. So probably, I would say, maybe even just take this a bit with a pinch of salt. He had we've outlined all our policies are fully funded. They do not require additional tax increases. Yeah, this is the line that they've been. This is the line Labour always posed, that they've everything has been fully costed. Current law stipulates that any local authority wanting to raise council tax by 5% or more has to hold a referendum first. Labour politicians, including Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves, had previously called for a council tax revaluation as the current rates are based on house prices from 1991. Yeah. There needs to be a re-evaluation, without a doubt, in my opinion. Some parts of London have seen house prices rise by more than 800% in that time, whereas places like Hartlepool have barely tripled, according to the Land Registry. 800% in London. It's just unfair. In Wales, the Labour Party has promised to introduce new council tax bans and tax ban rates, but that has been pushed back to 2028. The Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, has described the Welsh Labour government as a blueprint for what Labour can do across the UK, and has spoken about its desire to reform local authority funding. I don't like that he's going to push it. Why push it back? Countdown Power says, does my head in how they just keep making stuff up about Labour. Then when Labour says no, we haven't said that at all. They're just saying that they're lying and giving people people believe them. It's very important for people to understand specifically what they say and what the manifesto specifically says, rather than just reading from what newspapers and that say. And I think that's really important context on that matter. Because people do muddy the waters with what politicians and people actually say. Asked by Sky News earlier this month if he would rule out a council tax review in England, Sir Keir said the council tax was too high for too many people, and he said he was not wanting to raise tax. I think he needs to do a council tax review in England. I do think they need to do that. Torsten Bell, Labour candidate for Swansea West, ahead of the think tank, the Resolution Foundation, wrote about the need for the re-evaluation in his book Great Britain, How to Get Our Future Back. It's time to bite the bullet and carry out a re-evaluation of properties in England and Scotland. Wales has already done it, he wrote. We need to add more bands, increase the bill valuation between them, or move to a proportional tax on property values. Reacting to Mr Ashwell saying Labour will not change council tax bans, the Conservative Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Laura Trott, said, Rachel Reeves has failed to rule out increasing council tax, and this morning Jonathan Ashwell was making it up as he went along. Labour are in chaos on tax. Yeah, I know. Just Laura pandering to say, don't vote for Labour. Labour are already introducing the higher council tax bands in a full council tax re-evaluation in Wales. So is it time Keir Starmer comes clean with the British public and admits that council taxes will be higher too under Labour in England too? The £38.5 billion black hole in their manifesto means there would be at least a 2094 tax bill for working families under Labour. And that's just a start. West Meeting admitted their manifesto is not the total sum of their future spending. They're keeping their cards close to their chest, I think is the right word to say. They're keeping their cards close to their chest. And I get the frustration. I really get the frustration. Good morning, Steve, over there on the other side of the world. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I really do think I do think that we should just I understand the frustrations of Labour, and I do with many people. I you know how I feel about Labour, guys. But like let's see, and we will hold them to account. Everyone will hold them to account when they are in government. It needs to be. Daily Blase, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Congratulations on 30,000 subscribers, by the way. Daily Blase hit 30,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, so big congratulations to him. If you're not a subscriber already of his channel, please go out. If someone could put a link to his YouTube channel in the description, it would be greatly appreciated. Really made great strides on that channel, and it's great to see him doing really well with it. So if you're not a subscriber, please do go subscribe to him. and check out his content. He does really great stuff, guys. Really, and yeah, 30,000 subscribers, big achievement. Well done, my friend. Congratulations once again. So just switching gears, we're gonna take another little break because no, I don't want to stop the stream. Why did it ask me to do that? Oh God, he asked me for a second if I wanted to stop the stream. I said no, of course I don't want to stop the stream. Oh dear, that would have been disastrous. So I've got a funny video for you guys. We've got a couple more articles to go through, obviously before we reach near the end. This one, I haven't even listened to it yet. It's about over 5 minutes long. It's from Jonathan Pye and his election specials. So this is the third one that he's put through, that he has done. This was a few days ago, 3 days ago actually. So this one is entitled Reform. Hope you guys enjoy.
The news that Reform have taken over the Tories in the polls, prompting Nigel Farage to declare, "We are now the opposition." Let's take a look. And now over to our Nigel Farage correspondent, Nigel Farage. Hello, Nigel Farage. Thank you, Nigel. Back to you, Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Nigel fucking Farage. As if my sad existence couldn't get any more cretinous. I am spending most of my days travelling around the country following a populist, Trump-filleting, flag-shagging, GB News pin-up, dog-whistling grifter in a Del Boy overcoat. Fuck my luck. After 14 years of unspeakable cruelty, greed and incompetence, I am witnessing the end of the Tory party as we know it, and I can't enjoy it because what replaces it is even worse. Nigel Farage has appointed himself the country's unofficial leader of the opposition. He's going to realign the British political right so the Conservatives are either replaced by Reform or consumed by them. It's happened already. Andrea Jenkins has got a fucking picture of him on her Conservative campaign leaflet. It's a fait accompli. 50 quid, he'll be on the opposition front bench within 6 months and Prime Minister within a decade.
There you go.
And you know why he's doing so well? It's not unbridled opportunism. It's because he's a man of the people. Working man's ordinary bloke, privately educated, former commodity trader with normal people's best interests at heart. Get rid of the NHS in favour of the American insurance-based system. Salt of the earth, trustworthy, expensive scandals and spending millions of UK taxpayers' money paying his family members, staff, kind of just ordinary bloke, down the pub, banks at Coots, normal, everyday man of the people. And he's not racist, he just says it how it is, close ties with the BNP called Enoch Powell his political hero. It's just lazy to call Nigel Farage racist. Yes, he's dabbled. As a youth at sixth form, he was a fervent National Front supporter and vocal anti-Semite. And, it is well documented that as a student, he'd occasionally march through the town singing Hitler youth songs. True story. But, who didn't in their youth do a little bit of goose stepping? I mean, that's not racist. It's not actually racist to be a racist, is it? He wants to stop immigration. Okay, nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with that. A lot of people want to stop immigration. How's he going to do it? What's the policy? Well, he wants net migration to be at 0. Well, I want a bigger dick. And it's not a policy, is it? Dare to ask him how he would achieve 0 net migration, he looks at you like you've just shat yourself. Dare to point out we're all £2,000 worse off because of Brexit, he just rolls his eyes. Boring. Any unwelcome facts are dismissed as a giant left-wing Remainer plot. The last election was all about getting Brexit done and nothing else. The oven-ready, pop it in the microwave whilst hiding in a fridge election. This time round, nothing. Nothing from the Tories, because the Brexit they delivered was dog shit. Nothing from Labour, because they don't want to kind of alienate the people that voted for the dog shit by mentioning that it was dog shit, and hardly a squeak from Farage because he was the poster boy for the dog shit. And we now know it was dog shit because nothing has changed. The rich have got richer, the poor have got poorer, and control of immigration has all but collapsed. And of course, The promise of taking back control went way beyond just control of our borders. It was a way for those who were left behind to express their anger at a ruling and political class that have abandoned the working class for decades. But Brexit didn't solve any problems, it just exposed them. It exposed that what real people need is real policies that meet real people's urgent needs, money in your pocket and food on your table. And we've had none of it. And populism thrives in a vacuum. It masks political failure by blaming others. A bit of it's immigrants' fault over here and high court judges are enemies of the people over there. And it's going to resonate with people who can't afford to feed their fucking children. If I was standing in this election and was given 90 minutes on primetime telly to promise the world whilst postulating out policy positions and ideas that don't stand up to any scrutiny, zero net migration, blowjobs and lollipops on the now insurance-based NHS and free anal bleaching for the over 75s, I'd be doing all right in the polls as well. That's how populism works. Promising the world without fear you'll ever have to deliver. He is a dangerous grifter. He is Liz Truss in human form. There's only one seat I'm hoping the Tories win. Yeah, if I lived in Clacton, I would tactically vote the Tories in. Oh, God. Oh, I just did a bit sick in my own mouth. Oh, God. Yeah. Well, bad news for Rishi Sunak, good news for Reform and possibly Labour. Splitting the right-wing vote is an early Christmas present for Keir Starmer.
I will just say, just before we switch to the next article there, it's actually the polling, actually, you're probably better, if you live in Clacton and you want to stop Nigel Farage getting in, you're actually better off voting Labour, according to some tactical voting in polling I've seen. You're actually better off voting Labour if you're from Clacton, if you want to stop Nigel Farage getting in, because now it's the vote share has actually gone more, has increased in Labour significantly over the last week or so apparently. Steve McMahon, thank you so much for the 10 New Zealand dollars, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for that super chat. Greatly appreciate it. So it makes me feel better because it means that this live stream was completely not for nothing. Because you guys, I don't monetize my live streams. So one of the only ways that I can make any money on the live streams here, or one of the best ways to financially support me, is by becoming a YouTube member. Being a YouTube member, guys, gives you access to 2 perks. You can, to lots of perks, actually. You can be a YouTube member for as little as 99p. It may not sound like a lot, but 99p a month really does make a massive difference, and it shows you're financially supporting me. Get access to custom emojis, also access to the membership community membership posts. And if you're a $2.99 member, guys, you get early access to additional content. Some of you guys have already seen that is up. So you get access to all that stuff just by being a YouTube member. And of course, other ways if you want to financially support me, just as Steve has, which is very generously, has supported me with a super chat there. If you guys want to donate any super chats at all, obviously I will read out your comment. If you do, and it really does support me. It doesn't just support me, guys, actually. It supports the whole gang as well behind me. Yep, Cash Dummy, Ollie, and Pingu. And you need to get emojis of those guys when you're YouTube members as well. Other ways you can financially support me as well is by buying me a coffee. The link is in the description. And also joining me on the Patreon, guys. I actually get a bigger cut from Patreon if you join on there. And on Patreon, guys, not only do you get, not only are you supporting me on there, but you actually get access to exclusive content on there as well as additional free content on Patreon as well. So you actually get quite a lot of content on Patreon as well. So as a paid member on there. So do feel free to check it out. The link for the Patreon is in the description as well. And thank you to everyone who has supported me in any way, shape or form. It is really appreciated. So, moving on, guys. Who would like to see a TikTok video? I know you guys aren't looking forward to this one. So Suella Braverman's new cringy TikTok election video is actually real. The former Home Secretary is seen performing a swaggering dance to Freddie Legrand in Isidore Cordo's 2006 hit Let Me Think About It in a TikTok clip. I kid you not. Should I click the play button? Should I torture you guys with this? Just before I make it, just Casper Northera with a £5 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good weekend. Just like the rest of you guys, I hope you had a very nice weekend as well. Thanks for that. I really appreciate the support. Thank you again with the good job emoji. So yes, let's have a little gander and see this cringy clip. Maybe we'll keep the volume off just to save ourselves. Oh no, it's gotten. Hold on a second. Adverts. Oh, I forgot to. This is disturbing. Yep, it is disturbing. I haven't seen House of the Dragons, actually, to be fair. But apparently, yeah, this TikTok clip really did. Well, I'm just waiting for the adverts to run past. Yeah, it's quite sort of thing. Yeah, it's not.
Who wants to go to the forest?
We don't need to see any more of that. What the fuck was that? Oh my god. Oh my god. What on earth was that? First and foremost, like, those people must have had the fakest smiles. In the back of their minds, they must be thinking, oh my god, why am I doing this? Why am I trying to make her look cool? Like, my god. Oh my god. That was horrible. That was horrible. Yeah. Suella Braverman's new TikTok video described as cringy as many left viewers confused about whether it was just a parody. The former Home Secretary was filmed doing a swaggering dance to the soundtrack of Freddie LeGrand in Illidor Course 2006. Let me think about it. No, I thought about it and I'm not going to vote for you. There, I've made my decision. She launched a new account on a social media platform last week, and with a handful of videos as part of a general election campaign, it has already received tens of thousands of views. Here's the thing, like, hold on a second. Yeah, okay. Yeah, here's the thing, like, she's clocking on. She's clocking on to what Nigel Farage is doing. And whatever you might think of Suella Braverman, this is clever from her. Because she's looking at this and because she's looking at this and she's looking at what Nigel Farage is doing, right? Because Nigel Farage is a Twitter machine. Yeah, and he does lots of TikToks and all that kind of stuff, and it gets lots and lots of views. It's getting lots of attention. He knows how to appeal to people. Yeah, and he's very clever behind it. This is what a lot of old politicians are not realizing, that they need to use social media more and use the grasp of it. He's clocked onto it. Trump, obviously, with his Twitter machine, his Truth Social. This is Nigel Farage doing the same thing here. And this is how you'll win people over. Dave McGuinness, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. From Twitch here to argue with all of you. Should I copy and paste my comments here? What did you say? There is no such thing as democracy. It's managed democracy. It just gives people the illusion of choice. Politicians are just actors. Well, it depends where you're from, because there are some politicians in the world that actually do good things. So it varies. So whether you're talking British politics or American, Finnish, even there's some good politicians in Europe that do great things. So I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't agree with that on that view. Wearing dark glasses on green trousers, the Conservative candidate for Farage and Waterloo did not speak during the 15-second clip. Instead, the caption appears asking voters will support her at the upcoming general election on July the 4th, while a remix of the popular song plays in the background. What is this? And look, this guy trying to be like cool in the background there. Mrs. Braverman, who previously ran for the Tory party leadership, is seen holding a campaign sign with her name on it. The video then pans to the former minister, who also serves as Attorney General, who walks in front of a group of activists while holding the campaign signs. But the video is actually real and not a parody, although clearly tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, I think some people would have made that jump to that conclusion, to be fair. Mrs. Braverman was trying to take advantage of a viral trend on the platform, which originated from a video of a woman asking her baby who wants to see the Four Seasons Orlando while the track played in the background. The baby exaggerates raising its hands in a clip that has gone down a storm on social media platform, generating more than 40 million views. The clip by Mrs. Braverman attracted plenty of attention online, with critics and fans alike sharing their views. Well said, Peter. Well said, Peter. No, I'm not going to play it again, guys. I'm not going to play it again. Literally my favourite MP, one admirer wrote on TikTok. We love you. Another wrote while a third said, what a queen. How many bots were there saying this stuff? Others were less than impressed, including activist Nick Lowles, who's chief executive of Hope Not 8, who said, I've really seen it all now. Heaven help us, says Peter Stefanovich said. This is beyond cringe, Alistair Campbell said as well. Mrs. Braverman, known for her hardline rhetoric on immigration, is defending a majority of 26,086 in Farage, a new constituency that replaced her old one. Earlier this month, she said Reform UK and Nigel Farage should be welcomed in the Conservative Party. In an interview with the Times, Ms. Braverman said the Tories are a broad church and should not exclude anyone who wants the Conservatives to get elected. God. Like, this is the thing, like, this puts me off so much because of who she is and what she's done and what she's said. Like, and the thing is, it just takes a bit of social media and all of a sudden it goes away, you know, what it all goes away and people forget. People forget what she was and what she said. Yeah, you completely forget all about it because of that. Oh, dear, oh dear. So, guys, just before we go to the next article, guys, just a reminder, guys, just asking you guys in the live YouTube chat poll, do you think Nigel Farage would join the Tories if he becomes an MP after the general election? 23 votes have been cast so far. 52% of you think yes. 26% of you say no. 22% of you are not sure. I live in a town by her constituency, says Stu Viking President. My deepest sympathies with you, I'm afraid. Next, Suella will be doing an OnlyFans for gammons. You know what? You don't be surprised. People. There's a lot of weirdos out there, unfortunately. There's a lot of weirdos out there. I know, guys. Anyways, let's move on from Suella Braverman. This piece here from The Guardian. So Labour would try to improve the UK's post-Brexit trade deal with the EU, says Reeves. The Shadow Chancellor marks one shift in tone for the party, which has preferred not to talk about Brexit so far. So before I talk about this piece, guys, I want to highlight something that I thought... No, you're fine, Jow. It's fine. I've got... there's worse things out there, I'm sure. Nothing to apologise. So there's something that really comes to my mind when I thought about thinking about this and about how Labour will approach Brexit. And there was something that Phil from Different Bias made quite interesting, and in one of his videos, I think it was today or yesterday, and he said how that they wouldn't do it all in one go, but what they would do is do slow, small little pieces here and there, slow pieces of rejoining bit by bit. And what he means is by aligning, we will establish alignment with the EU, but not on everything at once, but slowly, by bit. That would actually benefit us slowly in the long term. But the problem is that we can't, like, the argument obviously from myself and many others will say, why are we waiting for this? People want to go rejoin the EU. Let's get on with it. But obviously, he's trying to, Phil was making this point that they can't do that. They're too scared of upsetting the Brexiteers. They're too scared of opening up wounds. That the time is not right to have that conversation. And that the argument that that he was making was about doing it steps by steps, by little bits by bits. And one of the ways that they used that was, and one of the arguments was about realignment with something to do with the chemicals industry, so that will allow us to get more chemicals in to help us deal with, for example, like the water treatment situation, for example. So I do understand those points in terms of not upsetting certain, rowing the boat on Brexit, but at the same time, I also think we should have this conversation. I am very skeptical. Like, I don't see this thing of they can make Brexit work. This slogan doesn't work. We know Brexit can't work. But I do think they will. But I do agree with what Phil's saying. This is what I think they will try to do, is try to make alignments in. They will align things with the EU, but it will be little bits at a time and not one whole step at a time, which is what we want, because they're afraid of upsetting the media, afraid of upsetting the likes of Farage, the right wing, and all that kind of stuff. Because we do have a fragile, unfortunately, people, unfortunately, who don't want to open up that wound. So I get that, but at the same time, I just think, we should just rejoin. But at the same time, I also know that it's not as simple as that. It's complicated. We're talking about 10, 20 years. We need to, and obviously the EU will not be on board with it unless all political parties are on board with it, which we know that's not the case as well. So we can't have that conversation about rejoining the EU and rejoining the European Union. We know that. We know that's a long process. We know it's not going to be happening for a while. I fully understand that. I know that. But we should be having more of that conversation, I think. Do hear it every now and then. We do hear it every now and then. I mean, Nick Robinson's interview with the BBC highlighting how to Keir Starmer about it as well. So it's not something that's going to go away, that is for sure. So let's read a bit into this, you guys. So Labour would try to improve elements of the UK's trade deal with the EU. Rachel Reeves has indicated, and saying that most financial services companies have not regarded Brexit as being a great opportunity for their businesses. While Labour remains committed to not making major changes to Brexit, the Chancellor's comments showed that the party could nonetheless make more policy moves on EU trade links than previously believed. In an interview with the Financial Times, Reeves said part of a wider move to reset Britain's global image, a Labour government will take on a less adversarial approach to dealings with the EU, with less incentives on regulatory divergence. Areas which could see closer alignment with the EU rules could include the chemical sector. Yeah, this is where Phil got his from reading that piece. And a revised deal for workers in the City of London, Reeves told the paper. I don't think anyone voted Leave because they were not happy with chemical regulations. They were the same across Europe, Reeves said. When my constituency voted Leave, it was purely because of immigration. Yeah, then this I 100% agree. I think a lot of people on Brexit, obviously, it was down to immigration. Obviously, we've seen the situation now. So I do agree with her on that part. Most people voted for Brexit with that. And obviously the status quo of taking it because of David Cameron austerity and sticking it to him because obviously of austerity as well. She told the FT that the party could introduce a bespoke arrangement for the chemical industry to try and reduce costs connecting to having to register products with the UK system. David Frosty, the lead Brexit negotiator under Boris Johnson's government, who is now a Tory peer, doesn't deserve that, rejected this argument, writing on X. Except for free movement, people didn't vote against the single subset of a single market rules. They voted against having the rules set in Brussels. How many times do I need to tell people this? We did not, on 2016, on the EU referendum, we did not vote to leave the single market and customs union. We voted to leave the European Union. That was what it was. It did not say about the single market and customs union. How many times do I have to repeat this to people? The blimmin' Leave campaign said we were not leaving them either. My God, people are so thick. The EU, which has long criticised British attempts to cherry-pick the benefits of EU membership, is likely to respond extremely cautiously to any plans perceived to give special treatment to a country outside the bloc. After the announcement of the general election, diplomats said a closer relationship was possible, but only if the UK abides by responsibility and rules. The European Commission spokesperson declined to comment on the specific ideas outlined by a person likely to become the UK's next Chancellor. Yeah, why on earth would they comment on it? They're not going to comment on it. We're not going to be commenting on every comment that is made in the context of the UK's electoral campaign, said Eric Mummer. We have discussions with the UK to mandate the relationship, and it is in that context that we have any discussion, any issues that can come up. Exactly. They're not going to say anything, and then, yeah, that's right. Reeves also said Labour could amend areas such as the mutual reconciliation of professional qualifications, saying that this could benefit financial services. The majority of people in the city have not regarded Brexit as being a great opportunity for their businesses, she said. Services and financial services were pretty much excluded from the Brexit deal, she said. Now, while Reeves' proposals are modest, they represent something of a shift in the tone for the party, which has thus far in the election campaign preferred to not talk about Brexit. In the seven-way TV debate last week, Angela Rayner, the party deputy leader, joined Nigel Farage and the Conservative Penny Mordaunt in saying that she would never seek to rejoin the EU. This is a lie! In the interview, Reeves reiterated that a Labour government would never back rejoining the single market or customs union. This is also a lie! And would even back a scheme for youth freedom of movement. And would not even back a... This is also a lie! I have to keep saying that, guys. Because... And why am I saying that? Because we know that in order for us to have the same growth and economy that we had before, we will have to rejoin and down the road. So, by them saying this now, they're saying this obviously to keep the right wing happy. But we know they're going to lie, and we know they're going to do it at some point down the road. We know they're going to be on board with it. We know the vast majority of people within Labour, within the Labour Party, are for rejoining the EU single market and customs union. The problem is they can't say it now, so they have to rule it out now. But they're just ruling it out just to appease the right wing, just to appease certain voters. They're only saying that, they're saying that. They're not actually meaning it. It means they're lying to the British public about saying that. They will U-turn on this. They will U-turn on it because eventually something is going to give. We know they will. Also in the interview, Reeves said a Labour government would not always be entirely cautious on the economy and was willing to upset some people to boost growth rather than having a fight about different taxes. The bulk of the Conservative campaign so far has been based on trying to warn about what the party would be tax rises under a Labour government, a narrative that Labour rejects. The Tory warning has been echoed by friendly newspapers with several front pages on Monday's warning of support of serious rises to a series of taxes under Labour. Reeves told the FT that our party could go ahead with the plans even without even tax rises on the wealthy, saying, "We're not seeking to mandate to increase people's taxes, we're seeking to mandate to grow the economy." Yes, grow the economy. Yes, you keep saying that. They just, I generally believe that they are, like they cannot seriously tell me that they are not going to do, they're not going to try and rejoin within 10, 15, 20 years time, a Labour government. Their position, I guarantee you, will change. I guarantee their position will change. They will have to change their position. Because if the vast majority in Labour want it, and as time passes on, more people are rejecting Brexit, and more people are living with the regret of wanting to join back in. As time passes on, the demand will increase. The youth, those who are young, who have missed out on the opportunities that their parents and grandparents had, they will want the same opportunities that their parents had. That is not going to go away. They are going to be forced to in this change. If they say it now, they will have to change their position. I generally believe Labour will change their position. It's just a matter of when they're going to change their tone. I do not expect them to change that tone as soon as they walk into number 10. However, I do expect them to change that tone down the line. When they will, I don't know, but I do believe they will. Nothing wrong with you turning on a crap idea, says Super Tiny at 808. Good to see you, Super Tiny. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, there is nothing wrong with doing a U-turn on a crap idea. The problem is to say, but it's undermining public trust because you lied to the British public. And what? You Tories haven't been lying for 14 fucking years yourself. Yeah. And they say, and this is when the elderly lady walks along the street, asked about politicians, and she said, "Oh, they're all the same, I tell you. They're all the same." And it's true. Politicians are all the same. No, they're not, actually. The problem is that we paint them all with the same brush. Elephant in the room, offshore counts. Yeah, oh yeah, the offshore. Grow the pie. Yeah, you just stick it in the microwave or in the oven and the pie will grow, Stu. It's as simple as that. Just grow the pie. Right, so last article for you guys. Wow, I'm going on. Wait, I do this far too long, guys. So I got one last article for you guys here. This one is from Byline Times. This is the headline with anti-conservative tactical voting website for general election crashes due to extremely high demand. So the guide is designed to oust the Conservatives from government, but smaller parties are questioning some of the recommendations. So this is not the website we're about to read into from Byline Times that they were talking about. Is not the stopthetories.org that has been promoted by Politics Social. No. This one that we're going to be looking at is from Best for Britain, the Twitter account. Apparently this one has a lot more. It's a lot more, but I'm sorry to be that guy, but I listen to the news around here, says Joe. No, you're fine, buddy. You're fine. Finland are up their own. Okay, you say that. You can say that, Stu, but I can't speak about Finnish politics, to be fair. I can't speak about Finnish politics, to be fair. Actually, what I'll do, I'm just going to I should end the poll, actually, considering this is the last article. Let me just quickly do that for you guys. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's cast their votes on the live YouTube chat poll. 25 of you casted your votes asking, do you think that Nigel Farage would join the Tories if he became an MP after the general election? 56% of you say yes, 23% of you say no, and 20% of you are not sure. So thank you everyone for casting your vote. It was democracy intervened in that polling. There was no rigging whatsoever in that polling, I can assure you. Pingu agrees with me. Yes, Pingu does agree with me. There was no election, no polling rigging in that whatsoever. It was conducted completely equally and fair for you guys. Right, so let's read into this, guys. Oh my God, that picture of Liz Truss. It looks terrible. Right, so pro-European campaign group Best for Britain, that's it, has published its tactical voting recommendation for the July 4th general election, advertising voters in 451 constituencies across the UK on how to cast their ballots to deliver the heaviest electoral blow to the Conservative government. The recommendations released on the group's Getvoting.org website call for voters to back candidates in 370 seats, the Liberal Democrats in 69 seats, and the Green Party in 3. Interesting. So they're interesting. 69 for Lib Dems, 370 seats there. Why only 3 for the Greens? Well, at least it's 3. BFB also backs a Scottish National Party vote in 7 seats in Scotland, and Plaid Cymru in 2 constituencies in Wales to have the best chance of changing the government. I think Plaid Cymru deserves more, considering what I've been hearing from them, to be fair. In the remaining 181 seats, Best for Britain is not making a recommendation, saying that the opposition lead is large enough that people trying to stop the Tories can vote with their hearts. That sounds a lot more fairer. That sounds a lot more fairer. Now, one of the things about the Stop the Tories vote, the other one, guys, that's recommended by Politics Social, is that what Phil has always, Phil from Different Bites, and I'm only going by him on this, is that they change sometimes the decisions on who to back a bit closer to the election, depending on the polling and recommendations of what they hear from MRPs in the local areas. The best recommend on their best recommendation on who's the best person to go in, whether it's in some cases, obviously, where it's rare cases of a 3-horse race, or whether it's better to back the Lib Dem or the Labour candidate. It's not always 100% clear, is what he said on that, in that one. Whereas in this website here, the getvoting.org website, is what they're saying, is that 181 seats that they're not sure about, they're just basically saying, vote with your conscience, basically, because we're not 100%, we can't tell you who's best to vote for that. That's what they're saying. The recommendation site crashed shortly after launching due to extremely high demand, according to a Best for Britain spokesperson, but is currently available again. Best for Britain CEO Naomi Smith emphasised the group's disdain for the tactical voting at a press conference unveiling the recommendation. We really, really hate tactical voting, Smith said, adding, we think people should be able to vote for who they believe in, but until the voting system changes, tactical voting will continue to be a feature. Yeah. The group says its advice is based on the latest surveillance MRP polling, as well as local insight and expert analysis, with the aim of keeping the Conservatives out of power for the next decade and preventing the hard right Reform UK party led by Nigel Farage from gaining a foothold in Parliament. Best for Britain's own political indicates as many as 13 million voters are prepared to vote tactically, and in other words, backing a party that isn't necessarily their first choice with the primary intent of keeping out the Conservatives. However, a recommendation has drawn criticism from some quarters, including for recommending a Labour vote in Bristol Central over the Green Party candidate and co-leader Carla Denver. Yeah, this seat is a two-way Green Labour toss-up, so almost no chance of going Conservative. If they're backing... So they're saying to vote Labour for Bristol Central. That's BS. Well, I also know what's also a bit BS as well, and I am going to have a shot here at Labour here. A bit of Labour here. Because this is the Greens have been making gains here, and also Carol Vorderman backed the candidate here as well. Like there is a real surge for the Greens here, and Labour should be focusing on other seats. And I don't like that they're recommending the Labour vote there. I don't like that at all. We want more diversity in Parliament, and Carla Denver's been brilliant. She's been brilliant on the debates. She deserves that. I'm sorry for the Labour voters out there, but she deserves a seat in the House of Parliament. She deserves a seat. I think she will be a great voice in there. You know, we talk about like how much we appreciated Caroline Lucas and her time as an MP. Carla Denver, if you've been watching those debates with me, guys, you'll know that she's definitely someone who will stand up and speak voice, for people. So, I'm. You know, I tell people to vote. My opinion, I always say you vote how you want. But I would say if you're someone from Bristol Central, you will be making a terrible, terrible decision by voting anyone else but Green. You really should vote for Green in this area. You really should give Carla Denver the platform to speak, not just for the Greens, but for anyone in this one. I cannot stress this enough. Carla Denver deserves a spot. And I really do think she will do a great job for Bristol Central, and I really do think she will make a great voice in the House of Parliament. I really do. Not taking anything away from Labour, but this is one that I think you should give to the Greens. I really, really do. Another Reeves blast that is typical first-past-the-post sustaining nonsense from Best for Labour, although the group backs a shift to proportional representation. Another voter questioned the group's backing for pro-independent parties, the SNP, and Plaid Cymru, writing, how can an organisation called Best for Britain endorse nationalist parties and expect to be taken seriously? Well, if a Plaid Cymru, if a constituency in Wales is fought between Plaid Cymru and the Conservatives, and the Plaid Cymru has a better chance of winning it, you're going to want to encourage people to vote Plaid Cymru if Labour has got as much voters there, wouldn't you? And it's the same. And it's the same in in Scotland. Like the SNP have the best. Always in Scotland, I always say, you know, the SNP speak volumes for Scotland. So others argue voters should ignore websites like Getvoting.log entirely and make their own determinations. Here's a radical idea, opened one Twitter user. Stop listening to tactical voting websites and Carol Vorderman and do your own research. Vote in the interest of what the most vulnerable person or that you know or who's most likely to beat the candidate you hate most. I would not recommend doing your own research because there's lots of fake tactical rigging tactical websites anyway. So I would not be very cautious about the term of doing your own research. There are lots of fake voting websites out there of tactical voting websites. So this idea of do your own research, I would be very cautious about that. Tom Hatfield wrote, it seems Best for Britain are trying to protect Farage and Debonair by pretending the Tories might get a win in a Labour Green marginal of Bristol Central. Another user, Theo Elliott, dubbed the recommendations absolute nonsense, saying the Tories won't win there. There's no need for tactical voting. Bristol Friends should feel free to vote Green without worry. Exactly. At the 2019 general election, Getvoting.org said it reached 1.5 million people and helped 800,000 people vote tactically, boosting the vote share of the opposition candidate by at least 10% in 19 constituencies. The slight boost was 97% accurate in its recommendations. Zach Polowski, the Green Party deputy leader, told Byline Times, "We're very pleased that Best for Britain recognises that seats like North Hertfordshire and Wyndham Valley, it is the Green Party holding the flame for progressive politics and our best place to beat the Conservatives. There are, however, other seats like Brighton Pavilion and Bristol Central where Greens are on course to win by beating Labour." Yeah, so this is exactly my argument. Where are they getting the they're obviously not getting their numbers correctly on those two when the numbers are clearly showing that more people are targeting Greens in those areas than Labour. We think our group of Green MPs elected can make an inevitable Labour landslide government bolder and better and push them to scrap the two-child benefit cap, to properly invest in the NHS and stand up for peace and justice abroad. In a statement to journalists, a Base for Britain spokesperson said tactical voting was needed as Labour's circular 20-point lead in part built on the people who are voting tactically. Polling shows that a fifth of people who say they are voting Labour and a third of those saying that will vote Lib Dem are doing so tactically, telling these people that they needn't bother will eat into this lead. Well, not in the areas that we've just talked about. Not in the areas I just talked about. All the in all the other seats, by all means, Labour, Lib Dems, go for it. If you want to tactically vote them out and vote Labour to do that, by all means, go for it. But not the seats the ones that the Greens are the four key Green seats. I completely and vehemently disagree with Best for Britain there. All the other seats, I would say between Lib Dems and Labour, by all means, go for them. But the four key ones, no, they're flat out wrong on that. I'm just stating that now. Damage of 14 years of mismanagement by this government will take years to repair. Everyone knows that. Significant improvements like democratic reform, fixing the Brexit deal, meaningful climate action could take even longer. For this reason, it's important that this government is dealt a massive blow to the election and can reduce the chances of them securing power again after 5 years. Tactical voting can ensure they return the smallest number of MPs possible they added. Again, this hasn't... Yeah, and we're all in agreement with that. If you want to tactically vote, we get that. However, the indications and pollings and data from on those seats indicate that most people in those areas and constituencies want to vote vote Green. And like I say, it'll be good. And here's the other thing, yeah. And I know there are some Labour supporters here, and like I say, we'd rather have a Labour government than a Conservative government. I think everyone will agree with that. This will not hurt Labour. This will not hurt Labour. It really will not. I really disagree with them on the Bristol Central one, and I will be really upset if Carla does not get that seat. I really will. The organisation says tactical voting can help remove populism from UK politics, claiming that the current Conservative Party is almost unrecognisable from the other one that took office in 2010. Yep, 100% agree with that. Similar to the Republicans in the USA, populists within the Conservative Party will seek to further radicalise their policy platform, even in opposition, moving it further to the right and not focusing on increasing division in the UK, and focus on increasing division in the UK and removing democratic safeguards. Tactical voting can remove people like this from positions of influence within the Parliamentary Conservative Party, the Best for Britain spokesperson said. Again, 100% agreement. Group's mass polling analysis showed that many high-profile right-wing Conservatives could be at risk if they are voted tactically, including Jacob Rees-Mogg, Suella Braverman and Liz Truss. Oh my God, I would love it if they all got kicked, but... It also could prevent Nigel Farage gaining a foothold in Parliament in Clacton, with the group recommending a Labour vote there. Yes. Now, this is what I was saying there. There was some polling indicating that you should go after Labour in Clacton rather than the Conservative there, which is what Jonathan Pye was saying in his video here. I went off SNP when Stephen Flynn tried to use Gaza to attack Labour. Ian Blackford wouldn't have done that. The Greens deserve a few MPs that definitely to scout down to power. I went off Labour when they gerrymandered the 1979 devolution referendum, says Mark Wilkie. The Tories and Redestroy have to be banned from, and the Redestroy has to be banned from having any influence in Parliament. But a Labour government forced to deal with Greens and Liberal Democrats is a good thing. I have no problem. I just think that we need to be. While of course we want to wipe the Conservatives out, we also have to be wary of what's the next. Like, here's the thing, guys. We're looking at the first chess piece. You think of a game of chess, right? And if anybody played chess, anyone who knows who's played chess is that you do not just think about the first move. You think about the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth move. You think about where all your pieces are on the board, where they are, and one small step can literally destroy your game. And that's how bad it is. It can be. So just because this move that we all agree on the board that is the right move in terms of getting Labour government into power, doesn't necessarily mean we're all in agreement with the next chess move. If that analogy makes any sense to everyone. Good to see you, QA Library. I hope you're doing well, buddy. I know. Yeah, agree to disagree. Yeah, you guys in the chat, I would say, on that. Best for Britain has not made a recommendation Islington North, where former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn stands as an independent candidate. Interesting. That's interesting. I still think, if I'm honest, I still think Labour are going to take that from Jeremy Corbyn. You can view the recommendations for reasoning your seat here if the website is live again. There are a number of anti-conservative tactical voting sites too, including Stop the Tories, backed by presenter Carol Vorderman. Let me just have a quickie, see if I can get it up for you guys. Right, let's have a little gander, guys. Give me a postcode. Not your postcode. Give me a postcode, guys. You want me to? Do you have a postcode, guys? You want me to try for you guys before we do the funny video? What do you guys think? Let's see. I'm gonna use one of my old places I used to live in. Let's see. Yeah, Hertfordshire. Tactical voting recommends in Hertfordshire vote Labour. So you say more Labour than anyone else there. Hertfordshire is previously consistently South Hertfordshire has been Conservative since 1974. The Conservative majority in 2019 was large, with Labour in the distance 7. However, opposite parties did well in the local elections. In parts of the seat, the Lib Dems are the main challengers in local elections, but across seats where consensus has been Conservative and Labour, the latest polling shows that there's a clear second place. Voters wish to defeat the Conservatives should unite behind a Labour government. Interesting. QA Library's given me one there. I hope that's. I really hope that's not your. I'm assuming that's a similar. I've done it wrong, obviously. I'll read it wrong. You try. It's probably me not typing it properly. Let's just do that one. No, that one's not coming up. QA. Oh, there we go. We've got a couple have come up. Let's see. Bath. They're saying vote with your heart. So the tactical voting isn't necessarily in all seats, and we want as many people to vote with their heart. They think representing their values. We haven't made a recommendation here because the incumbent MP is polling at over 15% ahead of any other party. This means this seat is safe, and you can vote for any party you want to. So this is the MRP poll by Salvation here. So saying polling data should not be used for tactical voting. It's important to consider local factors when parties holding the seat. How many people intend to vote tactically in Bath is 58%. This is what happened in Bath according to them. Interesting stuff here. Food banks, housing. Very interesting. I hope that's, yeah, very interesting. I will put a link. Yeah, it's getvoting.org, guys, if you want to have a gander. I'll do one more, guys. We'll do one more that's just been put up. BA1. Let's try that. Artibus. Which area is that? What area is that got? Artibus. Where's abouts? I meant Sistine Banker. Oh, Tory Tiger Taser. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Bashington and Beckwith would be interesting. Is there any ones on here you want me to look at? Let's have a look at Salisbury. Let's try Salisbury. Salisbury says vote Labour. Ooh, this was the MRP. So what are they saying here? Salisbury has been Conservative held seats since 1924, but the latest polling shows Tory lead narrowing with Labour in the seat by less than 1%. Lib Dems are third place but cannot win here, and novice Lib Dem or Green seat. Actually, interesting. Actually, I want to. Where is Bristol? I want to see what they actually say about Bristol. I want to see what they say about Bristol. That's bullshit. That's 100% bullshit. That's not what polls have been saying. That is not what the majority of polls have been saying. That's bullshit. Tactical voting when Green, Labour and Lib Dems work together. This is a seat where both Labour and the Greens are targeting. Another seat like this, Brighton Pilling. In this scenario, we must prioritise the incumbent party. This is why we are backing the Green Party in Brighton Pavilion. No, this is bullshit. The numbers indicate Green here. This is bullshit. No, the majority of polls have been saying Greens, not Labour here. 56% are intending to vote tactically here. This was updated 2 days ago, this last poll. According to them anyway. This isn't me, but it's not far from me. Bromley and Biggin Hill vote Labour. This is going to be a hard one. Because Bromley is a very strong conservative one there. 50%. Interesting. 35%, yeah, because they're very conservative. They're very conservative here, and they'll probably be more. Yeah, you can see 15% there. They're saying for reform there. That speaks a lot. There. That's not surprising there. P.O. Is that Gospels? Portsmouth South, isn't that Penny Mordaunt's? No, she had a different Portsmouth one, isn't there? I don't think that it's 48% says Labour according to them. Christchurch. Yeah, we're having a bit of fun here before we wrap things up. Christchurch. Let's have a quick look at Christchurch. We're having some fun here, guys. Where is Christchurch? There we go. Christchurch. Christchurch says vote Labour. Christchurch is traditionally a Conservative stronghold, but the current polling shows Labour could take the seat with the support of Liberal Democrats and Green voters. Neither of these parties has targeted a seat. The Conservatives will be squeezing sizable Reform UK votes here. This could be counteracted by Greens and Lib Dem supporting Labour here, according to them. Okay, that's a very tight one there, according to them. It's definitely a tight one. Only 32% are voting tactically here, according to them. That's a very tight one there, according to them. She's Portsmouth North. Yeah, I thought it was Portsmouth North. Yeah, they said. I think they said Lib Dem for her, didn't they? Or was it Lib? Was it? No, it's Labour. They're saying vote Labour, that one. Yeah, Labour. They're saying that one. Yeah, Lib Dems were the close second. Oh no, they're well behind on that one. Yeah, that one. It is. Yeah, give me 1 second. There you go. Well, do one more. Give me one more, guys. Give me one more, and Bastion Brockery for Bastion and Brockery. Give me 1 second. We'll do that one, and then we'll wrap things up. Where is it? Where's that name again? We'll keep it on the screen. I'm not very good with my... There we go. Vote Labour. They're saying vote Labour, Billy. Covers the town of Billericay and the north side of Basildon. Has been a Conservative seat since the current pattern of boundaries since the Basildon area was established in 2020. It was Conservative by a very large margin in 2019. The leader shifted between Conservative and Labour since September, with Labour now slightly ahead due to Conservative defection and Reform UK. Greens and Lib Dem supporters can help bring change by voting Labour. Ooh, that's a lot of reform there. 23.50% according to them. It's a lot of reform. That's going to be a tough one. What was your one, Ruth? TD13. Gonna be doing this all night at this point. Okay. Alright, I'll do your one. This is the last one. If you want me to do another one, you have to do a super chat. Vote SNP! You'll be very happy about that. Tactical vote to defeat the Conservatives in this constituency is for the SNP. The latest poll in MRP analysis shows there's no other party that comes close here. No other party. Yeah, so, yeah, according to them, 37% SNP to 34% Conservative there. So, yes, go for the SNP, they were saying there. There you go. 39% are intending to vote tactically as well. Yeah, there's no ambition there from the other parties at all. This is I like that they've got all this information added on top of it. It's a lot of information. This is really good stuff. Yeah, vote SNP, guys, is what they're saying in that area. So, there you go. So, nice one for the Scottish voters there. For the Scottish voters there, guys. So, guys, just before we wrap things up, I'm going to do a funny video for you guys before we head out. I hope you enjoyed this one. It's one from Matt Green. Some of you guys may not have seen this one yet. May not have seen this one yet, but it's incredibly funny. So, that the Willing House is always upon it. Nice one, Rick. Oh, thanks, Billy. Appreciate it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this funny video before we wrap things up, guys. From Matt Green. Please take it away, my friend.
This is an appeal on behalf of all politicians running in the general election. We've come together across party lines, from Labour to Conservative, Green to Reform, to make one simple request. Please stop laughing at us. It's actually pretty hard being a candidate, and it's a long campaign. We do it because we love it. But do you know what makes it harder? You lot sniggering at us. Look, as politicians, we might not agree on much, but there's one thing we do agree on. Give us a break with all the chortling. Whether it's roaring at Rishi when he explains very generously and very patiently to a bunch of idiots that when he said that debt would come down, he actually meant it would go up, or whether it's guffawing at Keir when he explains that his dad was a toolmaker for the millionth time, or even snorting at Nigel when he blames literally everything on immigration. Well, can we just say we've heard your giggles and we don't like them, because these are serious times which require serious people with serious plans, for goodness sake. And do you think chuckling at us is going to make us work any harder? Sometimes, of course, we're funny on purpose, and at those moments you're conspicuously silent. It's beginning to feel personal. All we're saying is either laugh with us or don't laugh at all. Thank you. So, awkward pun about the leader of another party, big laugh please. Sincere attempt to explain why our policies are excellent, respectful silence, followed by standing ovation. If you can't agree to these terms, then I'm afraid we might have to stop appearing in public or on TV ever again. And no one wants that, do they? Stop smirking. Because remember, you shouldn't be laughing at us to our faces. We should be laughing at you behind your backs.
Matt Green, everyone, make sure you check out his YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matt Green Comedy, and do check out his whenever he goes in your area. Do give him plenty of love and support. He does absolute great comedy work, guys. He's not just good here with his videos, he's very good in stand-up comedy as well. So please do give him plenty of love and support there as well, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Did you guys enjoy tonight's show? Yes, Ollie did enjoy tonight's show. I would like to say a special thank you to Casper and Casper and Steve, who gave super chats today. Thank you guys very much for it. Really appreciate the support today, because I don't make any advertisement whatsoever off my live streams, guys, because it's just not worth the risk of getting copyright striked. It's just not worth that risk. So, guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's come here tonight. Thank you, guys, for those who gave super chats. Thank you for all your comments. Thanks for your contributions on all that, both here on YouTube and on twitch.tv. I have seen your comments here on twitch.tv. It's kind of hard for me because I've got two separate devices, but I do appreciate those commenting on there as well, coming by. I really appreciate it. It's nice to see a little bit more chat in the Twitch chat. So hopefully we'll grow. It will take time, but hopefully we'll grow a community on that site, on that platform as well. But guys, just to give you so guys, what did I say at the start of the stream? I said I had a little surprise for you guys. So for those who are, I may be on Labour. I may be on Politics Social tomorrow for Geoscopes. Not 100% confirmed, but I may be joining Bola Hatman and Graham Hughes for Geoscopes, where we'll be talking about world politics. Just keep your eyes out for a community post for that. I will let you guys know for sure. So that probably means that I will not be doing a world news round, because there's no point, because I'll be talking about what's happening in the world with them. So if I do end up joining them, it will be at 7:30 before Max goes live on his live stream. We'll be talking about obviously news outside the UK. So if you are coming around, please feel free to come and join us. Please be aware that I am a moderator on there, so I do have the power to mute you and time you out if you do cause any trouble over there. So if you do come and join, please be respectful. I know how you have differences of opinion, shall we say, with some people here, and that's fine. But I want to try and stick to the world politics if we can. But if I do, there's just one or two things, obviously. Just wait, and hopefully it'll be all right, and I'll be able to join, and hopefully we'll have a good show. And then we'll go from there, obviously, straight into Max's live stream as well. So yes, it will be absolutely fantastic if I do get a join. But if not, obviously, if not for certain, I'll let you guys know for sure. But just need to find one or two. Just waiting for final confirmation of it. But I should be all right, guys. So yes, thanks guys for coming along. But remember, just before any of that, guys, tomorrow 12 p.m. noon, if you guys got nothing else and you want to come and hang out with me, I'll be live streaming the Labour Party's manifesto. I will be covering that, guys. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I'll be covering it in full. I may do a half and half. It depends. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, Ruth, thank you so much for the £1.49. What is that? Is that a cheesecake? I do have a sweet tooth. So I do like a dessert. So thank you for that. Unfortunately, I don't have any cake here, I'm afraid, so I can't have any tonight, I'm afraid. But thank you so much for that, Ruth. That's very nice of you. No Eyes number 3. Thanks for popping by. Great, appreciate it. And do check out Countdown to Power and number 3's their own YouTube channels as well, guys. And of course, make sure you do. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to Daily Blase's YouTube channel. Over 30,000 subscribers he reached recently as well. Congratulations to him as well. And I think it wasn't that too long ago that Politics Social also reached over 40,000 subscribers as well. So some milestones have been made. Hopefully I will reach the milestone of 1,500 subscribers as well. So thanks everyone for all your supports. And just before I go, I have to do the usual outro video. So if you haven't already, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you could do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.